everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where last time we took on the Culinarian 15 quest and did not actually make too much progress on our crafting log, unfortunately. I'm trying to save money by not spending it all on market board items that we need for crafting logs, partially because market board is very expensive, partially because we are coming up very soon on being able to actually gather most, if not all, of those materials ourselves. So, doesn't make too much sense to be spending a ton of money right now on market board items when we'll be able to do that ourselves soon enough. Today, we have wrapped up basically everything we can do in Limsa and the Lenosia region, so it's time to continue on with the main story by speaking with Bartholomew. Bartholomew has information that may be of interest to you. Ah, my lady envoy. I trust your stay in the Sultanate has been pleasant. Now, if you do not mind my asking, do you perchance have plans to visit Limsa in the near future? If so, I have information that may be of interest to you. I once accompanied the Flame General on an official visit to the seaside city estate, during which time I became acquainted with Baderon, the proprietor of the Drowning Wench. Well, the man sent word just now that he has a job for a capable adventurer. I can think of none with better credentials than you. Baderon would doubtless be pleased were you to offer him your services. Well then, Baderon, it's been a little while. We were just in Limsa, but we didn't stop by to see him. He didn't have any jobs for us at the time, but I suppose in the time we took on the airship to get back to Ul'dah, that must be exactly when that job came in. It hasn't been sitting there for a while. Absolutely not. For pacing purposes, I kinda wish I had done this at the end of the last main scenario episode we did, but I didn't think of it. And if I remember correctly, that episode was already a tad on the long side anyways. Alright, Baderon, I return from my very quick trip to Ul'dah. Welcome to the Drowning Wench. Sit wherever you like, lass. I'll be with you in well, if it ain't the one and only Satora Lancy. I was told a distinguished venture might be reporting for duty. Fancy that venture being you, eh? Just so you're fairly warned though, this ain't no job for the faint of art. Things are liable to get downright bleeding airy. But if you think you're still interested, let me know and I'll fill you in on the details. Alright then, let's get started with this new job from Baderon. Let's see. We're gonna be doing this next bit as Rogue, so let's see how this does. It is a definite improvement. 2 item levels, we'll go for it. Alright, let's go ahead and get that equipped. Thank you for the cotton shirt. And what's the job, Baderon? Baderon, the proprietor of the Drowning Wench, has need of a capable adventurer. And at this point, regardless of which city-state you began your game in, all stories converge here. This is the first quest that is shared between every single player, regardless of where they started or what their starting class was. So we're finally getting to the multiplayer part of the game. I thank you for taking the time to help me out. Now I'm sure you're busy, so I'll come straight to the point. Word has it, some suspicious looking buggers have been sneaking in and out of the Sastasha Seagrot, and I need a trustworthy sort to lead up north of Aleport and find out who they are and what they're up to. Don't sound like much, I know. But since that nasty business over in Swiftperch, folk have been a bit uneasy. Well, I say a bit. 'Tis all they can do not to soil themselves every time the bloody floorboards creak. If you would permit me, Master Baderon, I should be happy to elaborate. Oh, hello, Reiner. Well, if it ain't the Chief Yellowjacket himself. To what do I owe this rare honor, Commodore Reiner? Come to make sure me patrons are behaving, or just thirsty? Neither, in fact. I came to welcome Satora back to Limsa. It is well you have returned. Over the course of the past moon, there have been several sightings of an unfamiliar vessel off the coast of Aleport, in the vicinity of the Isles of Umbra. This information came to my attention no more than a few weeks after a squad of my own soldiers had completed a routine patrol of the region, the Sastasha Seagrot included. Their search revealed little save that a family of Querals had taken up residence in the caves. Nothing to concern us, in short. In light of recent developments, however, it would seem wise to search Sastasha again. But with the Sahagin testing our defenses daily, I am loath to assign the task to the limited forces at my disposal. Our line is stretched as it is. Thus I sought the services of a competent adventurer to conduct an investigation in our stead. Any aid you can offer in this matter would be greatly appreciated. Then it is settled. Sastasha is located in western Lenosia. For more detailed instructions on how to reach the place, I suggest you consult Vimelpa. She can be found at the ferry docks on the lower decks. You heard the man. Good luck to you, lass. Alright, and our mission begins to investigate Sastasha. And quite a few quests have actually opened up at this point. We're not going to be touching any of them yet. But it is worth noting that finishing Call of the Sea specifically opens up a bunch of quests for us to do. We'll be getting to them in due time. Alright then, we are heading down to the lower decks and we want to meet with Vimelpa over by the Fishers Guild. Hello there! You hear about Commodore Reiner's investigation, then you'll want to board a ferry bound for Aleport. Once you arrive in western Lenosia though, you'd best pay a visit to the Hall of the Novice before you blunder into Sastasha. The Adventurers Guild runs the hall and the folk there will prepare you, train you with the skills you'll need to face the dangers undoubtedly waiting for you in the Seagrot. The hall is on the way to Sastasha, just north of Aleport. Head inside and one of their seasoned adventurers will take you in hand. Best of luck to you, friend. Alright, let's take the boat to Aleport and go check out this Hall of the Novice. This is going to be a tad bit of a longer episode because today we are doing our first multiplayer duty. I'm not going to be doing it in multiplayer per se, for a couple of reasons which we'll get to in due time. But we will be doing our first multiplayer duty in Final Fantasy XIV. And that means we're going to be spending a bit of time actually learning how to properly play in party duties. So, let's go ahead and stop at the Hall of the Novice first. Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom the Yellowjacket sent word. I hear you are to brave the depths of the Sastasha Seagrot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into a den of such savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions. And you shall need the training we here at the Hall of the Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing on your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. When you have mastered all that our masters have to teach, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellowjacket Scout at the mouth of the Sastasha Seagrot and he will furnish you with the details of your duty. Alright then. So, before we head onwards, I recommend you take up their advice if you are new to MMOs. We're going to be taking up their advice and learning with the smith because it actually gives a bit of equipment. Also, it's good for getting everyone on the same page whether you've played an MMO before or not. Well, the mantle of adventure does not drape so awkwardly from your shoulders as it once did. But while questing alone certainly brings its own rewards, you haven't truly adventured until you've delved into some darkened dungeons, stalwart comrades at your side. Ancient ruins, echoing caverns, and all manner of deadly places lie hidden across the realm, and these are best conquered in the company of trustworthy allies. And such advice holds true for many a formidable foe that would crush a solitary adventurer. How one fights in a party, however, is often drastically different from how one fights alone. Thus did we construct the Hall of the Novice, where we endeavor to prepare you for those differences. Here within these walls, we offer burgeoning heroes a bevy of training exercises. Step into the flames, my friend, and forge the skills you shall need for the morrow. Alright, let's go ahead and register. We're going to have several consecutive DPS training missions. Simple little exercises which will get us through all the basic party combat skills we will need. Let us proceed directly to the briefing. What do you got for me, Masters of Arms? For this exercise, you'll be learning avoidance. An enemy often tips his hand before a big attack, and your best defense is to skip out of the way. You pass the exercise once I decide you've learned this lesson. Everything is clear, I trust? Say the word when you're ready to begin. Alright, let's begin. So as stated, enemies will have their big attacks as area of effect attacks, and area of effect attacks are always visible on the field. You want to get out of those area of effect attacks always. You want to, if possible, never get hit by them. Now you're not going to play perfectly, you're a human, presumably. So you will probably make mistakes, but generally, you want to do everything in your power to not get hit by AoE attacks. If you get hit by one, you're doing it wrong. In addition to cones, we also have lines. And we have circle attacks, which are usually used by spellcasters. Thankfully, they take it nice and slow to make sure that new players are able to get the hang of it. Oh, but you're just going to... Okay. You didn't need to be like that. You didn't need to lock me into you. Alright, simple training mission. And for a reward, we get... And speaking of survival, perfecting each of my lessons will earn you a piece of armor to aid you in your chosen role. Should you feel so inclined, repeat the same lesson with the other masters that they might reward you with equipment tailored towards their fields of expertise. So we get one piece of armor per lesson. This time it is gloves. Item level 17 gloves. Very nice. Don't mind if I do. Alright then, next up. Assist allies in defeating a target. Yes, these are very, very basic lessons, but it does really help to make sure you have the fundamentals covered. You'd be surprised how many people do not know the fundamentals of party combat, even in the end game of this game. When it comes to your placing the party or the sharp end of the spear, simply put, your role is to inflict as much damage as possible as a DPS while keeping your own skin intact. As such, you cannot just attack whichever enemy you please. If you strike a foe other than the one controlled by your ally, then you risk becoming the target of deadly aggression. As you might have guessed, the purpose of this exercise is to teach cooperation. Your ally will hold the enemy's attention, and it is your job to take the foe down. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. Everything is clear, I trust? Say the word when you're ready to begin. Alright, let's do this. So as stated, you are in party combat expected to fight whatever enemy your tank is fighting. Your tank is going to be the person who does the bulk of making sure that the enemies are distracted and not attacking you, so that you will be safe and able to actually do damage to the enemies without dying. If you go off and attack the wrong enemy, an enemy that the tank is not focusing on, then you're gonna have a little bit of trouble. You're probably going to get targeted because the tank isn't busy distracting them, and you're going to get your ass kicked. Also, as the Master of Arms just stated, attacking from the side or the back will often result in much better damage and much better hit rates. Focusing on whatever enemy your tank is targeting will get you through the combat much easier, much more safely, and much quicker. Did you mark the sturdiness of your ally taking the enemy's hits? Coordinating efforts with a heavily armored defender will allow you to fight to your fullest. Alright, we got some legs. I love that we're getting item level 17 equipment. That's actually really nice. According to my records, we have more training to do. Defeat an occupied target. I want to say there are 5 or 6 lessons in total. Alright, for this exercise you will be fighting multiple opponents. The key to victory is coordination with your comrades. Each foe will fall all the swifter under focused assault. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on to the next training exercise. So as before, we're just emphasizing, fight one enemy at a time. Fight whoever your tank is focusing in order to get them out of the way quickly so you can move on to the next target. Alright, starting with the mage then. Strike the wrong foe 5 times and we lose. As he said, mages do tend to be rather powerful, but they have very slow cast times since they have to cast their spells instead of just using them. But they do tend to be on the fragile side. Okay, we are on this one. I could not tell for a little bit which one our gladiator was focusing. It looks like they're going after the pugilist. Alright, next up we have the axe wielder, who would be the enemy tank. And we got it. What is our reward, Master of Arms? We are getting nothing! Oh, right. So before the 6.0 update, before the Endwalker expansion release, there used to be belts as equipment. I'm pretty sure we would have gotten a belt there before Endwalker dropped. But belts have been removed because they wanted to simplify the equipment a little bit. And getting rid of belts was the easiest way to do that, which unfortunately also means no reward for that exercise. Alright, avoid engaged targets is our lesson number 4. Do you remember the lesson where I had you evading enemy attacks? This exercise will put that training to the test. You must needs plan your strikes around some fancy footwork. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on to the next exercise. Alright, so we are combining dodging attacks with attacking focused enemies. Ramping up the difficulty a little bit more towards what we'll see in actual combat in duties. Alright, looks like we're going after the axe wielder. And if we get hit 5 times, we lose. Alright, well I'm gonna get behind the axe wielder and let's get going. Alright, looks like you're gonna take a cheap shot at me. How dare you? And now the mage is also coming after me. How can you do this? You're so rude. Alright, well that was dealt with easily. And move. And we've cleared it. There should be just a couple more of these left. We are almost done. Alright, our reward is a skirt. Let's go ahead and get that equipped. And what do you got next? We have engage enemy reinforcements. This exercise will teach you how to deal with enemy reinforcements. As the battle progresses, new foes will appear on the field. These sudden arrivals will target your weakest comrades, so you must be quick to eliminate them. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on. Alright, another situation which will come up very frequently, especially with experienced tanks, or impatient tanks. Enemy reinforcements are going to be happening all the time. Lots of new enemies are going to join the combat as you proceed through a dungeon over and over again. You gotta be prepared to take them down when they become a nuisance, or when they appear, so that they don't become a nuisance. Alright, new enemy has appeared. Hello there, Pugilist. Go ahead and get rid of you to get the healer saved. And back to the main axe wielder. Oh good, another pugilist. You just love sending your pugilist after us, don't you? Well, thankfully it looks like we hit that one quickly enough that it never even got a chance to go after our conjurer. A fine performance. A party is doomed without a source of restoration. When reinforcements threaten your healer, it is time to spring into action. Alright, we get no item this time. Alright, what do we got next? Interact with the battlefield, and out of curiosity. Oh, they're not gonna tell me. But I want to say this is either the last one or the second to last. In this exercise, you will learn to manipulate the battlefield. During the battle, the enemies will pour forth from the rear gate. New foes will continue to flood in whilst this portal remains open. You must operate the lever that closes the gate or your party will be overwhelmed. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on to the next training exercise. Alright, let's begin. As stated, sometimes there will be mechanics that you need to interact with in the middle of combat. These mechanics have actually been mostly removed from the game. I believe there's still a few, but the ones I can remember most distinctly existing were basically all removed back in when patch 6.1 came out. They removed a lot of those to just simplify everything and make it a lot easier for new players, especially as later content does not use battlefield interaction nearly as much. It's still something that can come up from time to time, so it's good to learn, but They've actually done quite a bit to strip away mid-battle field manipulation. I really should have gone after this first before going after the axe wielder. Oh well, we made it. Alright then, and our prize is a shirt. Have we received a hat yet? We have not. We have everything else, but we don't have the hat. Alright, here we are, the final exercise. This will put it all together. Alright, we've arrived at the mountain's peak, the final exercise. Just outside of Valeport. As the culmination of your training, all the skills you've acquired will be put to the test. Put your lessons into practice and you'll do just fine. Say the word when you are ready to begin. Alright, let's do it. Really? You're just gonna have me fight a dodo? Alright then. Pay attention to the direction the enemy is facing, fight it from behind, stay out of harm's way, and let's do this. Alright, we've got a jackal incoming. Let's go ahead and take that down quickly so it doesn't become a threat. More jackals. Is this all you're gonna send after us? A dodo and 2 jackals? Because it looks like the dodo's almost gone. Nah, there's gotta be something more for our final test. Multiple foes at once. Alright, we've got tamed pucks. Alright, let's get out of there so we don't get smacked by their flame breath. As soon as the AoE marker has disappeared, it is safe to return to wherever you are standing. You just can't be in this in the AoE when the circle disappears. That's when you'll get hit. Alright, one left. And the last challenge. A Gubu. Oh, damn it. Stay away with your moldy phlegm. That's disgusting. A little bit more and we've got this. 22, 21, 18% left. The Gubu is almost dead. Oh, don't sneeze on the tank, that's disgusting. And we have completed our DPS training. You've proven yourself a novice no longer. Pray accept this prize to commemorate your achievement. Alright, we got a brand new ring. Increases experience earned by 30% when level 30 and below. This will pair nicely with my earrings. Alright, let's stick that on. And we have now completed the Hull of the Novice for DPS classes. That information applies to everyone who is a DPS, so that will be, let's see, basically anyone in these 7 or these 5 here will basically all have the exact same tutorials. Now with that done, it is finally time to go take care of Sastasha. Before we head in, there are a few people I do want to talk to. Many of these characters are actually going to end up being important later on, so I want to get to know them. Grandfather and I are companions on the road. We travel where the wind takes us and drink in all the wonders this world has to offer. Only an adventurer can understand the joy of such freedom, of discovering hidden places and experiencing sights and sounds that few may ever know. The passing years have begun to take their toll on the old man, but no force saves death. Death itself will sate his appetite for adventure. Ah, fellow adventurer, you two are here to unravel the mysteries of Sastasha? I have adventured across this wide realm for more seasons than I dare to count, yet still Eorzea managed to surprise me with her beauty and splendor. Our journeys are not ended by the attainment of riches or fame. It is an unquenchable thirst for the unknown that drives us into the wilds time and again. Even if I explored the world for 1,000 years, I would never grow weary of this life. And for this party of 4. I'm sorry, Avir. I came as fast as I could. I tried haggling with a merchant, but 2 potions was the best I could get with the money you gave me. I had no idea how expensive they were. What took you so bloody long, Etta? If my purse was too light, you might have considered using some of your own bleeding coin to get us what you needed. You've only ever been as useful as the contents of your pockets. The gods know you can barely eel a scratch. We took up the venture in life to take on the big jobs and claim the big rewards. How are we meant to do that if you can't even get our supplies in order? It's her, the one Baderon was talking to. Well, we'll see who gets the glory. This job should have been ours in the first place. Yikes. Whoa! Etta, you're so slow you'd lose a foot race to a tree slug. This is perfect for our inaugural outing as a party. Wandering around in the caves, turning over a few rocks, how difficult could it possibly be? I never expected our first visit to the Adventurers Guild would yield such a straightforward way to win fame and fortune. They don't seem like the happiest party, to be honest. Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out for a stroll. I can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are? Thank the gods. I assume you already know about the ship seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra. We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since that vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality had been seen passing in and out of Sastasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this law belongs to those fishback-fancying Serpent Reavers. Them again. Well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are so fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue-faced tattoos. Duty calls, a dungeon beckons, enlists the aid of allied players and NPCs alike to slay monsters, solve mysteries, and defeat the mighty boss lurking in the depths. Conquering dungeons is not only a time-honored tradition of adventurers, but it also progresses the main scenario and tests your prowess at a given class or job in a timed environment. Intimidated? Fear not, dear adventurer, for with a little guidance, you too shall be clearing dungeons with confidence in no time. You may challenge a dungeon via 2 different methods, by calling upon the support of trusty NPCs, or by pooling your talent with other players, be they best friend or first acquaintance. No matter how you form your party, the trials that await you will be comparable in difficulty and experience. No matter how independent and capable you may be, a dungeon is too mighty a challenge to overcome on one's own. By choosing duty support when accessing the entrance of any applicable dungeon, you will summon a balanced team of skilled NPCs to support you on your path to glory. Just don't forget them once you're rich and famous, yes? After choosing to challenge a dungeon with NPCs via duty support, a party that perfectly complements your current class or job will be automatically created for you. All that's left is select a register for duty, and you'll be battling monsters in no time. They say a burden shared is a burden halved, and with the Duty Finder you can split that burden amongst a team of adventurers who smolder with the same passion for adventure as you do. No need to recruit such teammates yourself. The Duty Finder's matching system will automatically group players according to chosen challenge and other criteria, guaranteeing a balanced and invigorating cooperative experience for all. Once you have been matched with a party, you'll be notified by a bracing sound that the time for battle is at hand. Simply select Commence and you and your comrades will be delivered unto the fray. Remember, the adventurers with whom you are cooperating are fellow players. Take advantage of the full and varied strengths your group possesses by communicating respectfully and often. As your journey progresses, more and more dungeons will become available until you find yourself master of a sea of tribulations overcome. But don't let completion deter you from challenging your favorite duties again. Simply open Duty Support to play through dungeons you've cleared, or use the Duty Finder to do the same with dungeons not yet supported by the NPC party system. No matter your craving, you're guaranteed to find an adventure to satisfy. While this introduction of dungeons has no doubt been immortalized within the hallowed halls of your mind, if you find yourself in need of a refresher, you may access tutorial information again by selecting the question mark icon in the Duty Support or Duty Finder windows. A true adventurer understands the meaning of duty. Secure your legacy by fulfilling yours. So, that's actually largely a new tutorial. For me, at least. Duty support was added in patch 6.1, I want to say. Starting with A Realm Reborn duties and some of the initial patch duties, possibly? Actually, they might not be at the patch duties yet, but they're slowly rolling out a system where you can play through main scenario content entirely single player, without any other real-world players. Which is great for people who have horrible social anxiety, but I assure you, the players in this game are generally pretty good, pretty kind, and very willing to take their time and support new players. There are always assholes, as there always is, but the Final Fantasy XIV community is known for being unusually kind and supportive. So do not be afraid to do Duty Finder and play with other real-world players. But since this is a Let's Play, for privacy purposes for other players, we're going to be doing Duty Support. Also because I'm very curious what it is, how it works, because I haven't done it before. Except for the Shadowbringers version of Duty Support, which is several expansions down the line, I've done a little bit of that, but I'm pretty sure that just got rolled into Duty Support when 6.1 came out. Anyways, that said, let's begin by hopping to Sastasha, our first dungeon with Duty Support. Alright, let's see, we've already seen all of this. So let's enter Sastasha with an eager marauder, eager conjurer, and an eager thaumaturge. Let's do it. Welcome to Sastasha. Instance raids come with several rules, including time limits and restrictions on changing classes or jobs. Instance areas can be left at any time by using an exit, or selecting leave from Duty Finder. Oops, okay. You know what? Screw it. We don't need the tutorial. Basically, we're in an instance area. We can't leave until we either quit or finish it. Quitting will incur a penalty. You won't be able to use Duty Finder for like 30 minutes, but that's only if you're playing with other players, because then you're kind of fucking over other players, and they want to discourage doing that. But sometimes things come up and you just have to stop playing. Or sometimes your party is genuinely awful and you have to stop playing. We have quite a few enemies in here to deal with. The Marauder is a little bit too eager because I didn't actually want to go after these black bats yet. As we're going through this dungeon, we're going to be finding actually various loot that we can pick up, and we'll be sure to grab whatever we can. Alright, the black bats are apparently actually on our hunting log, so we're clearing that out a little bit. Heading over here, we have a bloody memo. You find a blood-stained scrap of parchment with a message scrawled upon it in faded ink. The captain likes his cabbage green. Remember that. There are 3 variants of that memo. Remember what it says for your own playthroughs. It will be important before too long. Alright, we've got a black bat, 2 black bats, and an Aurelia. Alright, combat is relatively simple as we're getting started. But of course, that's probably for the best, because that allows new players to really get the feel for how party combat works, without being completely overwhelmed. For now, let's murder these Aurelia and the black bats, and then move on. Now, the way it used to be, is it used to be that each of these enemies would drop experience when you kill them. You may notice that this is not happening. These enemies are not giving experience. In order to not encourage. So the way it worked before with all the enemies dropping experience is it kind of encouraged people to take a little bit too much time just stalling in dungeons, fighting every little thing, which left various players impatient, which reasonable. It's a lot of the fights can be a little bit samey within a dungeon. That's not to say that they are bad fights, but within a dungeon, the mechanics of most of the enemies is going to be largely the same. So by removing the experience from the extra enemies, it kind of allows you to just skip past them and keep moving on with the dungeon without getting punished for it, which is nice. It allows people to have a bit more expedient playtime. I might actually go ahead and end up not fighting some of these enemies as a result of that. Especially since we're playing with, well, NPCs, and they are going to basically do what I implicitly tell them to do through my actions. This did result in a drop in the amount of experience you get from a dungeon, but that is fine because they actually rolled all of that experience into the bosses. All of the bosses had the experience they grant increased by the amount of experience that enemies used to give. So at least there's not a loss in experience. In fact, there's a net gain in experience because now, before you had to kill all of the enemies to get the same amount of experience, now you just get it. Alright, well, my party decided that they really want to fight these Shade Seekers, so fighting the clams is a good idea if you are fighting the Shade Seekers, because when the clam's mouth opens, that is 1, when it becomes vulnerable, and 2, when it spawns more Shade Seekers. So unless you kill the clam, you're never gonna run out. So attack the clam when its mouth is open, and attack the Shade Seekers when the clam is closed. Alright, we're clear. We've got an Orobon and a Fossil Shell. And an Aurelia. Wow, we've just got a party going on here, don't we? Now, I haven't done the duty support before, as I mentioned, but I do remember hearing quite a few people actually complaining that your party members do tend to like to fight all of the enemies one group at a time, which is definitely on the more tedious end of playstyles. In these first few dungeons, that's actually probably a good thing, because you don't really have many area of effect attacks at this point. Only a few classes do. Like, I know Warrior has an area of effect at this point, but the Rogue sure doesn't. The best we have is Throwing Dagger. That only hits one enemy at a time. And that's a ranged attack, not an area of effect. But when you get to later dungeons, when you're at a higher level, most classes, basically all classes, are going to have their own area of effect attacks. Which actually makes it a lot more efficient to do what is known as big pulls or wall-to-wall pulls if you are feeling particularly brave. Big pulls are when you pull multiple groups of enemies at once, so you're fighting a lot of enemies at the same time. Wall-to-wall pulls is when you go ahead and you just grab every single enemy until you hit a wall, such as this wall. Now then, do you remember that memo from earlier? There are 3 messages it could have had, and on those messages it would have had one of 3 colors. We're going to head up to the coral formation that has our coral color. We were told the captain likes his cabbage green, so we hit green, and it opens up a switch. The switch summons a Quirrell known as Chopper. Hello, Chopper. Alright, let's take care of you quickly. Awesome, we can in fact stun Chopper. Good, so we can stop that area of effect attack. And duck out again. And got you. Leveling up to give us Feint. Oh wow, new ability. Let's see, what does Feint do for us? Lowers target's physical damage dealt by 10% and magic damage dealt by 5%. I'm going to put this here for now, but I will most likely be moving it at some point. We got a treasure coffer giving us ethereal brass wristlets, which are not an improvement over anything we have, but was worth picking them up. Are we sure they're not an improvement? Hang on. Ethereal brass wristlets would be... Nope, not in rings. Here. I mean, it looks like an improvement. Oh, it doesn't give strength up. Okay, that's why it doesn't give strength or dexterity up. That's why it doesn't want to equip it. Fair enough. All right, now that that's done, we can hit the switch for real, opening the door and proceeding onwards. Normally, if you're doing multiplayer, when you open up one of those treasure chests, there will be multiple treasure options in there. You are able to do need, greed, and pass system on those, where if you are the same class as a class that can equip a piece of equipment in the treasure, you can press need on it and roll a D100, a 100-sided dice. If you aren't the same class as a class that can equip the equipment, you can hit greed and roll a D100, a 100-sided dice. Or if you just don't want it at all, you can hit pass and not even try to get it. Once everyone has voted or a time limit has expired, it will check who rolled what dice. It will first check everyone who pressed need. And if anyone pressed need, whoever got the highest roll for need will get the equipment added to their inventory immediately. If no one pressed need, it'll move on to everyone who pressed greed, and it will pick whoever rolled the highest dice. And then if nobody picked that, I think it just gets tossed into a random person's inventory or gets discarded. But basically, it's a multiple chance system. People who can equip the item have first priority, followed by everyone else, and you're allowed to opt out if you want. Anyways, Captain Madison, please perish. I guess we found the pirates down here behind the coral switches. And we've got a treasure coffer giving us a Foe Striker's Talberd. Let's see. Foe Striker's Talberd gives us... Nope, not try on. We want item comparison. It's basically equivalent to what we have now, so oh well. Alright, heading in here, we have a rather large area with multiple surrounding sections. First off, we're gonna head up here. We're actually going to be checking out every room here, especially the optional ones. I will go ahead and note which areas are optional. This area we're going up to right now is optional. If you just want to get through here, you want to head to that room up there. I think one of the enemies around here has the key, but to get into that room up there, then you want to head to that room over there in the corner. And that should get you out of here, but I want to explore everything because it gives an achievement. Also, it's a source of experience. Well, not anymore. I just got done saying earlier that they removed experience from the random enemies. Alright, this room is clear. So next up we have a room on the west side. A completely optional room that I want to check out. It does have a treasure coffer, so it's not worthless to come in here. But also it's Sastasha, and most all of the equipment in the game is better than Sastasha equipment, so to be fair, it's the first dungeon. So it makes sense that almost everything's going to be better than here. But if you're coming through the first time, even then we're noticing that none of the equipment so far has been better than what we have. Ooh, we got plundered knives. Not an improvement over our existing daggers. That sucks. Okay, next we'll head to the southeast. Head around all the crates. Hello there! Sure, we'll deal with all of you first. Alright, that wave is clear. Now we can go check out the room over here, assuming none of them... Oh, okay. Marauder decided that they really wanted to fight these Reavers. Alright, yeah, I can see why people are a little irritated with the duty support AI. Alright, looks like that shallow scale Reaver actually had the key we needed to get into that room. And to reiterate, Captain's Quarters, you want to go in first with the Captain's Quarters keys. After that, you'll head to the Waverider gate. But first, to the hole! Hello, the hole! Hello, enemies guarding the hole, or guarding the key to the hole. Why is it called the hole? It does have a treasure coffer I want to check out. Alright, any enemies in here? Oh, that's why it's called the hole. They've got prisoners in here, and they're basically all women. Awful. Terrible. We got a plundered Calibra, it said? That was a hat. Salada. Plundered Salada is for tanks. Alright, heading back out here. Oh, wait, there is one more room we can check out. The deckhand's quarters. And let's see. Oh, well, they're all gonna come after me. They're all gonna come after someone. What the heck is happening here? They all just started ganging up on each other, I guess. Okay, one of them's got a heal. One of them is a healer. Which one is the healer? I do not see them. Their healer is freaking durable. Alright, well, one went down, so that's good. There's two. Looks like they're actually all about to go down independently. Fantastic. Finally broke through. Alright, what do we got? Treasure coffer in here, giving us plundered trousers. Which we cannot wear, those are for tanks. Well, tanks anyway. Alright, now then, let's head up to the captain's quarters. Oh, I did it again. I keep forgetting I actually have my weapons out already. So I accidentally sheathe them and try to use my first attack, which inventory is in the same spot. Dang it. Alright, now that they're out of the way, we can use our key to open the captain's quarters and head on in. They sure do have a lot of women locked up in here. Not a fan of that. They are pirates, so I'm not too surprised, just very, very disgusted. Alright, got the Waverider gate key, so now we can make our way to the Waverider gates. Dang it! I'll get the hang of that eventually. Alright, there we go. Let's open the door. And deeper into Sastasha. Looks like we are coming up on the end. Well, look who it is. Hello, Captain Madison. Long time no see. You are not getting away this time. I will not allow it. I will literally stand between you and the exit. Because I see that door over there. You damn coward. And we've got dogs. Oh god. Chaos! Chaos on the battlefield. Alright, dogs are down. Back to Madison. And the coward is fleeing once again. After him. You get back here, Captain. I want to see how far I can chase him. I'm not letting him get away. Psh! You sully our spawning grounds, Shorewalker. Oh, crap. Well, that didn't go well. Madison is dead and we are being slaughtered. I kind of hoped that the enemies would immediately give up on fighting us as soon as the boss started. Yeah, I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. Alright, well then, the Sahagin have murdered Captain Madison, so... I mean, it's kind of good, but we were trying to get rid of him anyway. But still, we need to deal with the Sahagin now, which is not a fun issue. I should have hung back and tried and clear these enemies out. I got over-eager. I really wanted to chase after Madison, see how far I could catch him, or how far I could chase after him. Alright, down to just 3 left. See, this is what's known as a big pull. We pulled a whole bunch of enemies, an entire room full. More of a hallway full, really. And we're able to pick through them relatively easily. Our Conjurer is doing a great job keeping us all alive. Big pulls do require a very good healer and a very good tank. Very good tank who makes sure they aren't getting hit too hard, and a very good healer who keeps them alive. But they can be a very much more effective way to deal with enemies and get through a dungeon. Alright, Den the Orcatoothed. We have a mechanic in this boss fight. Around the arena are 4 unnatural ripples. At some point in the fight, they will begin to splish and splash. Like that. And if they do that, well, if you're playing with other players, the Den will basically be dead by this point. But, since we're playing by ourselves, our AI is not that good. So we're going to have to go up to the unnatural ripples and interact with them to chill them out, and if you fail to do that in time, reinforcements will pop out and begin attacking. So I guess there are some instances of battlefield interaction still existing. Not many, but there are some. Oh god, we've got reinforcements coming from everywhere. Alright, this is just a distraction. Den, we have got to kill you quickly. If we get rid of you, your reinforcements will give up and flee. But seriously, if you're playing with other players, most of the time they're going to have really good equipment. It's going to let you tear through Den way before you even have to begin to worry about reinforcements. Like, they'll often still be walking to you when you kill him. And there we go. Sastasha is clear. Once you've cleared a duty, if you're playing with other players, you'll have the option to give commendations to the other players. Commendations are basically, you pick the player who you think did the best out of the entire party, and you say, good job, and they get achievements for it. They get achievements for it, and it feels good, and it just lets you know, hey, you did a good job, keep it up. Alright, for our rewards, we picked up a From the Depths Orchestrion roll. Our first Orchestrion roll. I believe I showed in the inn, there's the Orchestrion, which is basically a jukebox. You pick up these Orchestrion rolls and you use them, and it fills songs into your jukebox. Alright then, let's go ahead and hop out of the duty. We have finished Sastasha. And let's return to Baderon now that we have finished up here. Oh hey, the other parties have left. I mean, that makes sense, but... Alright, I know this episode has gone a little long. I apologize. We're gonna go ahead and finish off by turning in this quest to Baderon, and then we're going to do one more main scenario quest. And it'll be a short one, I promise. But we are going to do one more quest after this, and that'll finish off the episode. Aye, such a task was on the books. Was mine. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend. Ah, might you be the adventurer who accepted the job of investigating Sastasha? It would seem that ship has not only sailed, but now returns to the harbor, none the worse for its voyage. A pity. We dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter, the wheel will turn and our chance will come. You are right, of course, but there shall be no rest till we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will earn us a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only have a star to reach for and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eye on the prize and all obstacles will be overcome in time. You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. I wish you fortune in your endeavors, milady. Well, he seems nice. You all seem nice. Back then, are ya? With all your limbs and a tale to tell, I'll wager. Yeah, I found fish. Lots of fish, and pirates. The fish killed the pirates. Fishbacks, and there I was thinking you'd only have to crack a pirate's skull or 3. 7 hells, you turn your back for 5 bloody minutes and the scaly bastards have set up shop on your bleeding doorstep. Still, sounds like you left them in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they was planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves with the fauna of Sastasha, of course. Any road, all's well that ends well. Thanks for shedding some light on this mystery. I knew you'd get the job done, lass. You always do. Now I'll bet you're dying for a rest, but just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking on another job. Just so happens that I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, see. Seems the forest folk are in need of a venture what can get things done. For them to go ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through a sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready and I'll lay it out for you. Alright. It's probably pirates is clear. Party Finder is unlocked, so we can now join up with parties in the overworld. And Baderon is going to give us the Call of the Forest. Baderon has information on a new task. Ready to hear about that job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guilds in Gridania. And that's all I know, but whatever it is you get asked to do, I somehow doubt it'll pose any trouble for a venture that survives as the Bedlam in Sastasha. If you think you might be interested, you'll want to have words with Mother Mionne, counterpart in Gridania. Good luck, lass. Alright then, and that is how we'll be finishing off today. Heading up to the airship, and taking a ride to Gridania where we can listen to Mother Mionne. Alright then. Thankfully, Mother Mionne is very easily accessible just up the stairs. Hello there. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come to take your... Oh, not here to dine? Dare I hope that you're the adventurer Baderon sent word about? You are? The matron be praised. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mionne, and the Carline Canopy is my place. With regard to the task in question, there is a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details and I shall brief you. But of course, before we hear the details of this job, we have wrapped up basically everything available to us in Lenosia and Limsa Lominsa. And now we have a plot reason to be in a whole new city-state. And a whole new region of Eorzea. So what do you say next time? We have a bunch of classes to unlock and train up to level 15. We're gonna be busy for a little bit. But I promise, once we have unlocked all the classes in all the city-states, things are going to calm down significantly and we'll be making far more steady progress with main scenario. This is just a slight hiccup with the fact that I wanted to show all the quest lines, because I believe that all the classes have their own merits and are worth checking out. So next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we're going to be exploring the wonderful world of Gridania, and learning a little bit about this place's many, many problems. I'll see everyone next time for that. Oh, wait, before we go, I almost forgot something really important that we need to get done, since our travels are going to be keeping us in this area for a good while. If we're going to be here for a while, we gotta set it as our home point, so our return will now bring us back to Gridania. Otherwise, our return will bring us to, well, Lim's Little Minsa, and then we gotta pay another 120 gil to get here. Also, just since we're here, hello, Chocobo Porter, I'm adding you to my list, thank you. Anyways, now I'll see everyone next time for some work here in Gridania.